Connection between violence against Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirits and violence against the land and the waters. I'm going to read this because I don't have it from heart. I don't have it memorized. There is no doubt that the extent of violence against the environment and violence against Indigenous women, children, Two-Spirits, and transgendered people is truly tragic. It is essential that we acknowledge this fact, that we acknowledge the breadth and the depth of the violence. The question then is, how will we respond to these tragedies? At the same time, we choose to remember and celebrate the lives and resistance of Indigenous land and water defenders, the natural world, survivors of violence, and missing and murdered Indigenous women and their families. We reject the idea that Indigenous people are passive victims. They never have been and they never will be. We reject the idea that we can't protect the environment and that we must accept the destruction of the natural world as an inevitable aspect of a modern economy. How do we overcome tragedy? How do we do more than merely survive them, but learn to flourish and thrive in the face of them? As a survivor of extreme abuse and torture, I would say from my own experience that we must understand the meanings of our individual and collective tragedies, and that we must learn from them and grow. We must grow as individuals and movements and find ways to not only prevent tragedies from repeating, but to create a better world for everyone, one based in love and respect for all. When we aren't able to do this, we are doomed to tragedy, one after the next. When we aren't able to do this, life becomes a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Indeed, the human species is currently facing such crises and tragedy that if we can't stop them, most of us will likely perish, and we will take a large part of the non-human life on the planet with us. It is all too easy to focus exclusively on these bleak realities, to hear only the cries of oppressed people. We can, however, also listen to the laughter, and we can also notice the resistance, like trees growing up through the concrete. Life is beautiful. Life is sacred. We are meant to enjoy it. We are meant to celebrate it and to celebrate one another. Choosing to refocus our attention on all of the gifts and blessings that we all experience every moment of every day is a part of a healing journey, and we, as individuals, as movements and communities, must have the courage to heal. Don't misunderstand me. I don't mean forget, ignore, or deny. I mean that as we struggle for justice, that we work from a place of love and compassion, and that in the face of tragedy, we assert and reassert that life is good and that life is truly a blessing. When we focus our attention exclusively on the damage done by colonialism, oppression, and perpetrators, it leads us nowhere. It is a dead end. In doing this, we give them more power than they truly have, and we position ourselves as powerless victims. It invites us to despair, to give up, to seek revenge, when we should instead be struggling for justice, love, and compassion. The truth is that we have the power. We, the people, have the power. And together we can make a better world for everyone. So having said that, I'm profoundly grateful to introduce our three speakers, Lynn Gehl, Jocelyn Iahtail, and Gabrielle Fayant. Jocelyn is a mother, a survivor, and a cultural teacher and consultant at Mother Earth and Child. She speaks out against the violence faced by Indigenous women and girls and the historic and ongoing abuse of Indigenous children through the residential school system, Indian schools, the 60s Scoop, and the Millennium Scoop. Gabrielle Fayant is the co-founder of a youth-led and youth-driven organization called Assembly of Seven Generations and program manager of a youth economic program called Reach Up North in partnership with the Digital Opportunity Trust. She has worked for a number of national or Aboriginal organizations such as the National Association of Friendship Centres, the Native Women's Association of Canada, and the Aboriginal Healing Foundation. She has the experience on a number of local, regional, and national advisory committees and councils, such as the Canadian Commission of UNESCO's Youth Advisory Group, Ottawa Youth Engagement Committee, and Walking with Our Sisters Ottawa Youth Committee. Gabrielle also serves as a board member for the Ottawa Native Friendship Centre, and she sings with a female drum group called Spirit Flowers and as backup for a men's drum group called the Ottawa River Singers, also known as O-Town Boys, who are here tonight. They're drumming. Gabrielle is the recipient of the 2015 Inspire Metis Youth Award. Finally, Lynn Gehl is an Algonquin Anishinaabe from the Ottawa River Valley, Ontario, Canada. She describes herself as a learner, researcher, thinker, writer, blackface blogger, and she has been an Indigenous human rights advocate for 25 years. Lynn works to eliminate the continued sex discrimination in the Indian Act, and she is also an outspoken critic of the contemporary land claims process and self-government process. She has a doctorate in Indigenous Studies, a master's in the Canadian and Native Studies, and an undergraduate degree in anthropology. She also has a diploma in chemical technology and worked in the field of environmental science for 12 years in the area of toxic organic analysis of Ontario's waterways. While advocating for change is currently part of what she does, she is also interested in traditional knowledge systems that guide the Anishinaabe forward to a good life. Along with many journal and community publications, she has 3 books, Anishinaabe Stories, featuring petroglyphs, petrographs, and wampum belts, The Truth That Wampum Tells, My Debewewin on the Algonquin Land Claims Process, Makadengwe, Sharing Canada's Colonial Process Through Blackface Methodology. So Lynn's gonna start us off.